This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview. Hello and welcome back to Friday Alan Green. What a week. It's been a busy week for me, certainly, probably for you as well. Not so exciting on the stock market, but here we are on Friday, and I don't know what it's like with you, but it looks like we're getting a little bit of last-minute sun here. It's a very anti-cyclonic day, blue, beautiful skies, the sun is shining in, and I'm actually going to take the afternoon off and go cycling around the dunes of the Netherlands. So that's my plan. What's it like with you?
That sounds fantastic, Mark. Well, actually, we've had overnight. We had rain come in early, and I'm looking out. It's still rainy, but actually, the weather forecast is for this to pass over fairly quickly. And like you, yesterday we had a sort of an anti-cyclonic day, and it was clear blue sky, lovely, warm, balmy afternoon for October. So so great stuff. And yeah, well, I've had an interesting week because I discovered, as you do with mobile phone bills, that you can sometimes find that I actually took a detailed look at my wife's phone bill and my phone bill. We have two phones on the one account. So and when the phone bills come in at the same level every month, you just assume, well, that's okay. That's obviously no extra spend. But it was only when I caught sight of a phone bill, I saw these competition numbers that we'd been paying for. And so I looked at it and I realized that we've been paying about £18 per month on these competition numbers. And this, when we looked into it, it goes all the way back to 2015 when my wife actually, I think she responded to a Good Morning Britain competition or something. And this company after that started to send texts, only they were sneaky buggers because the texts didn't arrive on the phone. They never arrived on the phone. So you can never go, what the hell's this? Or stop, opt out. They kept on coming in. So I took it up with the phone service authority and obviously our supplier O2, who got onto it straight away. I contacted the company, and they said, "Oh yeah, well you did sign up, you did this, that, and the other, and no, it was perfectly legitimate contract. However, as a gesture of goodwill, it's always the however. You think, here we go. As a gesture of goodwill, we'd like to offer you a goodwill sum, and obviously we will stop everything from here on in, a goodwill payment of £724. So I accepted the goodwill payment, and that's now in the account. So it's we've now got some more money in the account that I wasn't expecting, but our phone bills have also gone down too. So
that's always fun, isn't it? Yeah, it's always a nice surprise. Yeah. Yes, talking of mobile phones, let's not dwell on it too much because we're supposed to be doing a Research Talks podcast, but Vodafone have messaged me saying that I am no longer going to get my roam free, so I have to actually go move even more away from my British roots and ties and get a +31 number.
Yeah, well, it's all part of the fun and games of the expat lifestyle, Mark. So
Indeed, yeah. So anyway, there we go. So on the Research Talks podcast today, we're going to be talking about Petroteq Energy, that is, and Dekel AgriVision. And you're going to kick us off with Petroteq, I think.
I am indeed. We spoke about Petroteq fairly recently, actually, but I think there have been some significant events that have taken place since then. So it's well worth a revisit because this is industry disruptive technology, without a doubt. Petroteq are listed on the TSXV, the Canadian market. They're also listed on the OTC Pink market as well, and currently trading at 19.5 cents. That's versus year high of 30 cents and a year low of 3.5 cents. So quite a trading range, but the company is all about sustainable oil production from oil sands, and of course, production from sands has long been experimented with and worked with, and with varying degrees of success. But Petroteq have finally settled on a solution that is absolutely sustainable, and it has two key products. It produces a high quality crude oil with low sulfur content, and it also produces clean sands. So sands that have been cleaned and purified, that can then be used for construction, and for a variety of other purposes. So the technology is called clean oil recovery technology, and this uses recyclable solvents, and the solvents can be recycled and reused. It's what the company calls a closed loop system. They also it produces the oil without water. There's no wastewater, no tailing ponds, so it's an extremely green and sustainable way of producing from sand. And it's gone through various iterations with partnerships and joint ventures. Tomco Energy are involved in the partnership, and the company has a production facility. The main facility is at Asphalt Ridge, which is a 2,500 acre site south of Vernal in Utah. There's an estimated 25 to 30 billion barrels of oil in place in these, or what are referred to oil wet deposits, bituminous tarry sands, and the company is the initial production setup worked on 500 barrels of oil per day, but the company has now, due to the ongoing success of the technology, it is looking to ramp up the production and introduce additional technical capability to increase the production to 5,000 barrels of oil a day. And all this is taken from a shareholder letter that was published about a week ago by the chairman, Jerry Bailey. He's the interim CEO and chairman, and he just basically goes through the evolution of the company, how far the company's come, all of the tests, the quality of the oil testing that the company's undergone, and of course most recently it's been testing. It's undergone some testing with Quadrise Fuels here in the UK, also a listed company, for assessing the suitability of the heavy sweet oil that's produced for the what Quadrise refers to as its multi-phase superfine atomized residue, to produce an emulsified synthetic heavy fuel oil suitable for use with marine applications, marine engines, and a raft of other technical applications. The initial oils have been produced at the Vernal facility, and sold to a Nevada refinery, and the company has throughout the past year been the subject of a couple of bids for the technology. Companies looking to take the technology off the market and put forward what would seem to be a reasonable bid for the company and its technology before obviously it grows and becomes the subject of possibly a buyout from a much bigger entity. And indeed, that's where we are today. The company said it responded yesterday to an unsolicited takeover bid by Viston United, a Swiss company. The the actual level of the bid is thought to be at in excess of 11 19 cents per share, and at this stage there's no further information on the bid, but just going through a raft of investor bulletin boards in the US, including StockTwits and others, the shareholders and investors on those boards are very much of the opinion that this is hugely disruptive technology. It's proven, it's successful, and it's worth billions potentially. And whilst obviously bulletin board comments and views should be taken in context and also viewed alongside industry research, I think there is no doubt that the technology that Petroteq have is disruptive, and could be industry changing. In terms of the sustainability that the industry is looking for, if there's a way of extracting the oil from sand, which Petroteq has, that is clean, that is sustainable, recyclable, and also produces clean building sand too, then it's a no-brainer. So that's really where Petroteq are at present. So there's another bid come in, unless this bid literally values the company in the billions. It's highly unlikely, I think, that it'll go through. Currently got a market cap of $108 million only. So really in sterling terms, that's about 50 to 60 million, which for the technology and the potential changes it could make to the industry, I think is significantly undervalues what this company can do going forward. And with the plans the company has to multiply production tenfold to 5,000 barrels of oil a day, and also the conversations that they're having with other oil companies around the world, taking that technology, licensing that technology to other oil sands projects. I think the company, it's well funded. I think the company should continue along its current route, get these deals in place, and then we could well see one of the big majors come in and make a play for them.
Okay, excellent. Okay, well, exciting times over there then.
Very exciting times. Yeah. I mean, this technology is we've seen quite a few of these ideas come along, but I wouldn't say there's a flaw, but often the devil is in the detail, and when it comes to it, perhaps the technology needs refining or isn't as efficient, and of course it loses the momentum. With Petroteq, it's just ticked all the boxes every step of the way. It works, it's sustainable, it's simple, and that's the other factor as well. And the fact it's undergone this independent testing, independent verification by different engineering companies and companies with different requirements and applications, and Quadrise, of course, being the latest of those. I think there's a huge tick in the box, and I think Jerry Bailey, his letter, if you actually go and have a look at it, the letter, this was published on October the 19th, about a week ago. I think it's worth reading it because it just gives a very good potted history of the company to date, what it's done and what its ambitions are going forward. So one would hope that if the offer from Viston is substantially ahead of where the current share price is, then it may be worth considering. But I think this has got a far bigger future than benefiting a bunch of private equity investors that are chancing their arm.
Okay, excellent. Now on to Dekel AgriVision, and what are they up to at the moment, Alan?
So we spoke about Dekel early this year, and this company fascinates me on a number of levels. This is the company's based, or the projects are based in the Ivory Coast in West Africa, and the company describes itself as a multi-commodity collaborative a multi-commodity, multi-project, collaborative and sustainable agriculture company. And it produces, firstly, palm oil. And of course, the applications for palm oil are wide and varied: food products, chips, chocolate, skincare, biodiesel, just to name some of the applications. And the agriculture in the Ivory Coast is typified by many hundreds, if not thousands, of small small holdings. Families owning sort of farms and several hundred acres or thousands of acres, and growing and cultivating palm oil. So what Dekel have done, they've the map of the regions that they have on the website shows this quite clearly. The company has a production facility at Ionawan, I think I've pronounced that correctly, which is 2 hours southeast of the port of Abidjan. That's of course one of the major hubs in the Ivory Coast, and the plant there basically takes palm oil. It produces plant feed. It produces production, and it can produce as high as 60 tons per hour. The Ivory Coast also is, as well as palm oil production, it's renowned as an exporter of cocoa, cashew nuts, coffee, and it's actually the largest producer in the world. So the Dekel is working with all of the local smallholders in the region, buying the produce from them, processing the palm oil, and selling the product out as both crude palm oil and palm kernel oil and palm kernel cake, which of course has various applications. Now, the company most recently announced production numbers for Q3 and also September. September, it produced 2,035 tons of palm oil. That's up from 1,965 the same months last year. In Q3, it produced 5,500 tons as opposed to 5,200 tons. But significantly, the sale prices it's achieved this year are well ahead of previously. So the actual sales in September, it sold just under 2,050 tons of palm oil at 954 euros a ton, compared to just 1,900 last year, same time last year, which was at 600 euros. But the Q3 compared to last year is even better, with just under 7,000 tons sold compared to 5,200 tons last year, and the average sale price 950 euros this year, 550 euros last year. So a big step forward there in terms of production, and indeed, the board is saying the company is well positioned for sustainable growth. But that's only part of the story. So if we look at the actual share price performance, the shares are trading at 5.14p presently. A very solid, steady performance. The shares blipped up as high as 6p in January this year, so that's a year high, and that's up from a low of 2p almost exactly a year ago. So shareholders buying in last year will have seen their money more than double, and there's been just a steady performance, a very flat share price performance, but with a blip up after the Q3 production results. But as I say, that's only half the story. The company's also invested. So if we go 2 hours south, 2 hours west of Abidjan, there's the company's invested into a plant at Guthrie, which is a cashew nut plant. And again, the same process, loads of smallholders, growing cashew nuts, and smallholders and cooperatives. They set up this plant to process raw cashew nuts, and the production has been ongoing over the summer. It was expected to come online be commissioned in September. There were a few delays, so we are expecting the plant to come online and start producing any day now. And of course, once that cashew nut production comes into play, we're going to see a significant uplift in funds, in revenues, in EBITDA uplift, and so on. It's a company that is going to continue to deliver growth if it can carry on growing palm oil production at the rate it's demonstrated in Q3, and then the cashew nut production comes online. Then I think shareholders are going to see a further uplift going forward. Either way, what you're investing into is the Ivory Coast community, the Ivory Coast agricultural community. You're investing into a company that is facilitating wealth and prosperity for all the smallholders, supplying their cashew nuts to the plant at Guthrie, and of course their palm oil to the plant at Ionoan. So it's a great company. I think a steady producer and a steady growth story, and I think we're going to see further share price uplift as we come to the end of this year, and also in the first half of 2022.
Okay, good. I do remember we spoke about Dekel AgriVision. Was it a couple of months ago, Alan? I think about 2 months ago, something like that.
I think it was longer ago than that. Actually,
longer ago, yeah. I know you were talking. You mentioned about the latest production figures will be coming out shortly, and that's obviously what we've discussed today. So clearly, things are going well, aren't they?
Well, they are. Yeah, I mean, obviously the factors that can affect it ongoing are the price of palm oil in the market. Is that going to be sustainable? Those costs, of course, we don't know. So if you were considering investing into Dekel, you'd want to take a look at that market and get an understanding of it, and also the factors that might effectively impact on it going forward. But nonetheless, this is. The production figures are impressive, and with the cashew nut production set to start literally any day now, we'll get some news on that, and I think that'll be the next driver to push the shares higher.
Excellent. Okay. Good. Well, Dekel's almost one we can revisit every so often and keep a tab on the production figures. It's nice to have a company that we can do that with, rather than talking about drills or other things that may or may not happen. This company actually has regular reporting, so it's nice to follow that story. But thank you very much, Alan, for talking to us there about Petroteq Energy and Dekel AgriVision, and enjoy your weekend.
And you too, Mark. Have a good one.
Thank you for listening to this Stockbox interview. For more information, interviews and videos, visit our website at stockboxmedia.com, or give us a follow on Twitter by searching @StockboxMedia.